Hi, hello everybody, and welcome back to Bebop Banter, the internet's premier anime podcast. Hope you all enjoyed that new opening music. Summer season, new opening theme. My name is Wes. Glad to be back after that extended little hiatus we got, and I'm not alone. Joined by the usual suspects, Demetrius
Let's go.
and Saeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We're all hyped to be back. As you just heard, we got some new music going on. Got new energy, new vibe heading into the summer. And with it being the summer, as you all know, as you've all probably seen through our Instagram and stuff, life happens sometimes, you got some moves, you got some family stuff, you got some studying for the bar, at least on my end. So please bear with us as we figure out our schedules, as we figure working through. And I do know that while we normally put these podcasts up on Monday, we're gonna try. We're gonna try to get them up there on Monday, but you might have to wait a couple days. And it's the summer. It's nice to have a few surprises here and there. Nice to have a little thing to do and some free time when you don't know what else to do. So thanks to everyone that stuck around. Thanks to everyone that is continuing to listen to us. And speaking of continuing to listen to us, yo guys, did we get a new podcast review?
Wait, I think we might have. We might have one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I think I saw one. So before we jump into what we're talking about, which actually it's perfectly themed with the fact that we have a new opening. Let me let me read this. Let me read this podcast review. 5-star review on the good old Apple Podcast from friend of the show, Hail Turek. Thank you for your service. Air Power. He's been featured on our blog site before with his collection, and he says, 5 stars, must listen for all anime lovers. Filipino Jesus Wes. Oh man, outing my ethnicity here. Uh-oh. Watch. The voice of Morgan Freeman playing Jesus, Demetrius.
Oh.
Ooh.
And the man with hotter takes than the fireball jutsu, Saeed.
Yes.
He knows the hand sign, folks. He knows how to do it.
Oh yeah.
Deliver the perfect anime podcast meant for anime fans of all levels. Thank you, gentlemen. No, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for the
thank you.
review.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you for your service. Because, TYFYS sometimes. But as you all know, leave a nice podcast review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. Or, we've gotten some really kind DMs on Instagram in the past. Hit us up. Let us know you appreciate it. We'll read it out here on the podcast as we go forward. We got some more stuff probably to be read on the next one. Yeah, it helps us out, shows us you're interested, and maybe we can get into some bigger stuff. So, I was talking about how we have a new opening, and I think it's perfect to just jump right into it. So, Demetrius, what are we hitting up on today?
I think we're talking about openings and endings, but mostly openings, and then also some endings. It's a lot.
Also some openings.
But also some openings.
But also some endings. And there's a lot to talk about here, a lot of ground. So why don't we all start by just kind of talking about the importance of anime openings and to a lesser extent, I guess, anime endings. But does anyone have some thoughts they want to share on what makes an anime opening so kind of unique to the medium and so important?
Well, I can start. So, what makes an anime opening very unique, in my opinion, which is really cool, is an anime opening in 90% of cases attempts to tell the story of an arc, a season, or maybe even an entire show in a minute and 30 seconds. Almost every opening is a minute and 30 seconds, unless we're talking about One Piece, in which you might get something a little longer. But that's a very unique take versus, like, I guess, a Western show where it's kind of just introducing you to the characters and the credits, not really showing you much, but just introducing you to the characters.
Yeah, they say the wheels are kind of the first impression you're going to get of a car in a lot of cases. Kind of like people say people look at other people's shoes to kind of see about that person. Well, anime openings are they kind of tease you with what you're going to get out of the show, and I think, like you said, that's unique. You don't just have a sizzle reel of stills of the characters with the actor's name over it. You actually get sometimes even just full standalone stories
Hmm.
in these
But
openings.
you gotta appreciate what both have to offer, especially the Office opening, like one of the best anime openings of all time.
Yep, for sure.
Corey in the House opening.
The thing I look for the most for openings is the music. Personally, if I like the music, I have a higher chance of just listening through the entire opening.
No doubt. I know, Saeed, you said you have a few artists that you actually have discovered, and I'm sure we all have,
Yes, yes, yes.
just from openings like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And endings too. They did do the one Hunter x Hunter ending.
Oh yeah, that's how I found them out. I was like, what is this song? And then I looked it up and I was like, oh my god.
And I think talking about the music is actually that's an integral part, because you talk about shows like The Office, and they do have that one song, and pretty much almost every Western show has that one song that
Hmm.
you associate with the show.
Right.
You hear the Office jingle, and you know it's The Office. You hear the Friends theme song, and you know it's Friends. But anime openings, unless it's a shorter series, they do switch it up.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, look at the longer series that have some iconic openings, like Naruto, like Bleach, like One Piece.
Yeah. The different openings gives you different, like, it'll remind you of certain arcs or
Hmm.
moments of the series.
And they kind of set the tone for the arc that you're kind of going into. I guess you can very easily tell when something is about to shift based off of what happens in the anime opening.
Yeah, and that's like really true for like shonens or any longer series, like you mentioned. Especially like current popular example is like My Hero Academia. I imagine Black Clover does it. I know Gintama does it heavily. So you get some good variation.
And it's cool just to see how much they play around with not just telling a story in the opening, but how much maybe they can skirt to spoil the story.
Hmm.
Looking at JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Right. That's another thing.
So yeah, there's just a lot of creative takes. I know, shameless plug, we did a best openings and endings of last year, and then by the time that this year ends, we'll have the best opening and endings of this year. And there are a lot on the list for a lot of different reasons, which I think is cool. Like series that creatively use the credits, or series that just
Yeah.
have a really, really good song, or
Hmm.
series where maybe the song doesn't look that great, but the animation quality is so high. Like there's so much variance in anime openings and endings. Endings are a little. Would you guys agree that endings kind of they don't need to tell as big a story? It's almost more of just a
Hmm.
decompress from what came down.
Right. Yeah. Usually they're more chill too. Like the openings would be more hype type of music, and then the endings are like the slower ballady type stuff. Usually. Usually.
It's like a cool down usually, like after a workout almost.
Definitely, and at least for me, when I'm watching an anime, there's almost no cooler thing that can happen than a series rolling the end credit music
Yeah,
over
that's
stuff
so
that's happening in
tasteful.
the show. Because
Hunter x Hunter did that a lot, actually, now that I think about it.
oh, the Hunter x Hunter, which one was it? Was it the second one with the heavy guitar part that would
Yeah.
just come in?
Oh, in the Phantom Troop arc, right?
Yup, yup.
Yo,
Yeah.
let me tell you guys. So this is a little unrelated, but right now I'm watching Violet Evergarden on Netflix,
I've heard good things. I've heard good things.
and they do what we just talked about a lot. They overlay the ending theme with like what's going on. Yo, this show is so
Hmm.
emotional. Oh my gosh,
Is it like a animated show, or what
it's an
kind of show is it?
anime. It's I think it's 13 episodes.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good so far. I'm enjoying it.
I'll definitely have to add it to the list. So yeah, I guess you could say like openings really set the tone, and endings can decompress, but they can also just kind of continue the hype in
Right.
situations like you said, or really highlight an emotional end of an episode by keeping that music going.
Hmm.
Maybe just because of how chill they are, like it adds to the sense of anime, the sense of emotions you're getting in that anime, and it's unique to anime. So the ultimate question is, do, do we all watch every opening of every episode and every ending of every episode, or do we skip them?
So as for me, like Saeed said, if I love the music and what the opening is doing, and I can't, and they're skirting around the plot, I'll watch it. But if I don't like the music, say for example, I'm going to just throw one under the bus right now. I did not like the music
Ooh.
to Megalobox's opening, so I just straight up skip that every time.
Oh, 100% agree.
Yep.
That's a case where I think the ending, again, I believe the ending was on our top 10 openings and endings of 2018. The ending is really good.
The ending is fire.
Mm-hmm. The ending is really good for a song. In fact, Saeed, what I believe there is a series is that we all really enjoy here, where the ending is better than the opening,
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
The,
It's help me out, guys. Also, something.
the good old also be also bosse.
Yes, my favorite ending in a long time.
So for people, we're gonna go on a quick recommendation here for people that haven't seen or heard of it. And I wouldn't blame you if you turned it off after the opening, because the opening
Very deceiving.
it's pretty much about three high school girls,
Middle school.
or middle school, yes, three middle school girls that are a part of this like pastimers club, where they just are supposed to be looking at things that, like games and stuff that people enjoyed in the past, but really it's just some absurdist humor that goes down, and the opening makes it look so innocent with like this really kind of slow, bubbly, almost shoujo-esque opening with really nice animation, but then you get to the ending and it's like this heavy metal, like sketch looking animation.
It's so good.
And that's when and that's the real that's the real face of the show, guys. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's so good.
It is really
It's
good.
great workout music. Great workout music.
Oh, excellent. And see, that's a thing that I think anime has going for it. Western shows, again, do have it, but like anime and openings and endings, you can really kind of connect to the tone of that type of show.
Mm-hmm.
Like you hear The Office opening, again, going back to The Office just because that's one of the pillars of Western media for TV shows. And you hear that opening and you know it's The Office, but you aren't necessarily immediately reminded of, or you don't, if you were just to hear it straight up, you're not really getting the emotional track that The Office portrays. Whereas if you have an anime, a lot of the times, like that heavy metal absurdist song is reflective of the type of tone you're going to be getting out of a show.
I think, in a way, now that you mention it, it's more like Western shows have a more upbeat opening, like they're just trying to make you happy that you're like watching the show, whereas anime openings are just like preparing you for what you're about to get into.
Mm-hmm. That's a perfect way to put it. So you skip if you don't really like it. Saeed, how about you?
If it's my first couple watches, I'll probably go through the entire thing, both opening and ending. But after probably like after the second episode, so like starting on the third episodes, like Demetrius said, if I like the song, I'll listen to it, and if I don't, I'll skip it. Mine is really heavily based on if I like the song or not.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Even if the visuals are subpar, if the song's good, I'll listen to it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, for me personally, I catch some heat from some friends for this. Even if I don't like the song or don't like the animation or anything, if it's my first watch through, I typically will watch both the openings and the endings.
Yeah.
And part of that is my OCD, because anime companies nowadays are starting to sneak some important scenes into these ending,
They
like
do.
mid
They
ending,
do that.
That's true. That is so true. Sometimes I'm like, what the heck?
like My Hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or shoot, one of the ones that did it best was Erased, and I was watching it as it was coming out. Oh, I was losing my mind. I'm not going to say which part, but I was losing my mind when I saw what they put in the opening.
Yeah. So I'll typically watch it on my first run through both the openings and the endings, and then on a rewatch of a show, I will skip the opening and ending unless I'm really in love with either the series or the songs. So like right now,
Mhm.
For the listeners, I'm rewatching Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans.
Good choice.
And excellent series. If you are on the fence about it because it's a mech series, and even if you're on the fence about it going through the first like half of season 1, stick with it because it gets crazy, like politically crazy, action wise crazy, character development wise crazy, feels crazy. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes on.
As someone that Wes recommended this to, I will vouch for it.
I've recommended some bad ones to Dimitri.
Oh yeah, we're not going to talk about those. Those don't deserve to see the light of day. But Iron Blooded Orphans is a good one.
So I'm rewatching that right now. And while, as I was going to say later on when we talk about some of our favorites, the fourth opening, so the second opening of season 2, is my favorite out of that series. I'm so connected to the actual series that I've been watching the openings and the endings just because I love it. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where if I'm rewatching it, I won't watch the opening or the ending unless it's really something special. Like Steins Gate is another example. I rewatch the openings and endings of Steins Gate when I rewatch the series.
Yo, and that's, yeah, it's kind of different for everybody because even if I like Steins Gate, I'm half and half. I kind of skip that one, but I also watch it. It's depends.
Yeah, if I'm on like a binge, I 100% probably skip it. Now that I think about it, if I'm binging a series that I'm really into, I'll skip the opening and ending, except for series like what Wes was talking about before. If they sneak stuff in at the endings and stuff or the openings, I'll stick through it. But usually, I would just skip it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what we do with openings and endings. Leave some comments on the post. What do you guys feel about it? How do you guys handle openings and endings? So before we talk about our favorites, because I already kind of hinted, or not even hinted, I said one of mine. There is one form of opening and ending that I feel like we do have to give a little milady tip of the hat to, and that is Western opening and endings.
Western anime specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, Western anime. So not like when we say Western anime, we're not talking about companies that are making quote unquote anime. Like when you see, oh, a Castlevania anime is here, but what makes an anime is for another podcast. But we're talking like when they brought Yu-Gi-Oh, or what we touched upon last time, One Piece, or Pokemon over, or Dragon Ball Z, and they completely changed the ending or the opening, and I guess the endings too.
I don't
Mhm.
think they had endings.
They probably changed both, yeah.
That is true.
No, hold on a second. Let me tell you something.
There are endings because I started a rewatch of the original Dragon Ball 2, and they did the ending theme on Dragon Ball.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Like Dragon Ball, I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was either Toonami or Adult Swim, and they said they're gonna air Dragon Ball Z Uncut. And I was like, yo, hype, I'm gonna watch this. And it had the ending that was like, it was kind of like Rock the Dragon, but it was really quiet and bouncy. It's kind of hard to describe, but it had like this lady that was whispering some of the lyrics.
Oh,
And it was really cool, but it was really creepy at the same time. And like all the scenes they were showing were in red. If you guys haven't seen that, I might have to send it to you. But yo, that ending was creepy. That's all I can remember. So I know there was endings.
so we want to talk about. You mentioned Rock the Dragon, and I know prior to this podcast, prior to recording it, we were talking about it. So why don't we talk about just like Rock the Dragon, kind of the differences, Demetrius? I know you were telling us about it earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
How it set a different tone almost for Dragon Ball Z, because a lot of people probably grew up on that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like Rock the Dragon is really cool. Like you said, it's part of my childhood. I'll always love it. It's very heavy rock. It shows a lot of action scenes. It shows a lot of movement. But if you were to go back and watch the original opening of like Head Chala or, Spocking, you get a completely different feel.
Yeah.
The original opening kind of seems more like adventure focused, like, hey, this is the cast, this is what they're trying to do, and this is the enemies they ran into. Versus like Dragon Ball Z Rock the Dragon is like just fist flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that again, the One Piece opening from before, from last episode. Shout out if you haven't listened to it, you should go should go check out.
Go learn some things about 4 Kids.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Four kids by kids.
But that the 4 Kids 5 Kids, that the Yu-Gi-Oh opening and the Pokemon opening are perfect examples of where they take anime series and they just scrap the opening and they make their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes to even more iconic status, like that Pokemon opening, or
One of
even
my favorite openings of all
the
time.
Egyptian music, one of the greatest. I agree. That Egyptian music from Yu-Gi-Oh. So that there's that type of opening. Definitely, like they put in some effort, and I know a lot of us like if you think Yu-Gi-Oh opening, you're gonna hear that Egyptian sounding instrumental instead of I think it's Shuffle by Kimeru or however you pronounce it.
I've never heard it. I'll be honest.
Dude, it's good. It's good. That's the
I've
original
never heard of
Japanese.
any Pokemon opening either, besides the American ones.
Mm-hmm. But like you, a lot of people think about that. But there's also the type of opening where they took the original Japanese song and they put English lyrics on it.
Right. Like
Mhm.
Smile Bomb.
Smile
Oh,
Bomb. Yo, you and I were thinking the same thing.
Smile
Legendary
Bomb,
opening.
Yu Yu, Freckles from Rurouni Kenshin.
I actually really like that one.
I do as well.
I would always watch it, and people would be like, "Why are you watching this?" And I'm like, "It's just it's a part of me."
In
Okay.
my mind, I can still picture the scene where I forget the two little girls' names, but they're in the dojo, and then Kaoru has her wooden sword, and she does the couple of wooden sword strikes, and then turns and faces the camera. And
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what their names were. I forgot
that's a
actually.
great scene. The Sailor Moon opening was the same song but redubbed in English, and a lot of times they change the lyrics up. Like Sailor Moon is completely different.
Yo, hey. So, high key, this is a little controversial. Not really controversial. I'll lower the escalation down a little
Ready for
bit.
the take? I'm ready.
Um, yo, hot take. The I don't know what it's called. It's the Ultra Instinct song in Dragon Ball Super.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
I
about.
heard it was dubbed, and I saw a clip, and it was trash.
Ooh, oh.
It was utter garbage, and I'm not gonna apologize. The one where he's going Ultra Instinct, and they're like, there's that guy that's really hype singing. He's like, goon 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 kachi does something like
Oh,
that.
So
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, they English dubbed it, and it is hot garbage.
Ooh, I'm about to look it up just to kind of be disappointed in it.
It's so bad you have to see it.
I'm sure Sean Schemmel did a great job with Ultra Instinct though.
I didn't watch the whole clip. I just I saw the how people were outraged with the song.
Interesting. I'll have to look it up. So, yeah, you also have wrapping up kind of this Western anime opening section. You got the times where they make their own thing, and you got the times where they try to adapt the old thing to varying levels of success, I guess. So, again, asking for some audience interaction here. Do you have any favorite English openings or favorite openings from when they came to the West? Or are you all about the Japanese openings? Let us know. Let us know. Maybe drop in a review, drop in a comment. But I think we're gonna wrap up this podcast here with the last few minutes by kind of going over some of our favorites. I know there's one in particular that makes Saeed cry every time.
Yep. Just thinking
And
about
yeah, you know what? Why don't we start with that? Let's get some favorite openings and endings here.
Yeah, let's just make Saeed cry right now. Let's do it.
it. Yeah, my favorite opening of all time from any show in general is One Piece opening 14. Uh, it's the mix of the visuals and the song itself, especially like near the end of it. I get emotional. Yeah,
Just from those opening, what is it, the keyboard or synth or whatever tone.
yeah. Just hearing the opening scenes, I'm like, oh no, mentally prepare myself.
Yeah, One Piece. So One Piece opening 14 for Saeed. Demetrius, you got any favorite openings?
I have to say, I mean, I'm just gonna go with the old great. I love Smile Bomb. I really like Smile
Smile
Bomb.
Bomb.
So even though they read up the lyrics, I can listen to it in English and Japanese, either or, and I just love them both.
Yeah, there's something about just the feel of that type of music from that era, especially Smile Bomb, like the kind of more popular
Mhm.
opening. Because nowadays they just a lot of it is just that super generic kind of J rock that goes on
Yeah.
that you can't really distinguish too often whether you like it or not, or whether it's a unique sound or not. But you hear some of the older kind of pop openings, and it definitely is not just nostalgia, but it's they all had kind of unique feels to them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any opening that makes me feel emotional. Yo, high key, one of the only shows that has an opening that makes me feel emotional to this day is it might be one of the ones I'm watching right now. It might be Violet Evergarden. There's something about that show that kind of is like, oh, this is very. I'm not trying to hype it up, but this is very like feelsy.
Okay. So for my favorites, because I do have one that kind of gets me emotional, not necessarily feelsy, but like it gets me really hyped up. I know I mentioned earlier Iron Blooded Orphans opening 4, which is Survivor by Kana Boon. They did that Naruto Shippuden opening too, that everyone memes. I love that one. I love Gravity Zero by Aqua Times from Star Driver. All time great for me is Alones by Aqua Times, which is Bleach OP6, which is where Cone starts singing it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Great.
If you guys can't tell, out of all of us, I listen to a lot of anime music.
Let's not make this a
Yeah.
competition. Let's not do this. But yeah, you listen the most.
I've annoyed some people driving with me in cars that have been able to survive anime music the whole time. But I know Demetrius can agree with me on this, and Saeed might agree with me on this. One that gets me emotional in a good way, it gets me hyped up every single time, is the Gurren Lagann opening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Is it Soriro Days? Something like that?
Yes. Sorairo or Sorairo Days, however you want to pronounce it,
Yeah.
by Shoko Nakagawa. That one, just because I remember watching that as a middle schooler, and it's just like this kind of like J rockish anthem that really hits a strong chorus section.
Sounds like a chord drill, if you ask me.
Ooh, it sounds like it's gonna pierce the
Pierce
heavens.
the heavens.
And she has some openings too that I also really liked. I think it's called Flying Humanoid that they did for Occult Academy. Shameless plug, we reviewed it on our blog, backlogbebop.wixsite.com/backlogbebop. You can find
We'll put it in the description. We'll put it in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Show notes.
I feel like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood had a lot of good. Like I like all their openings.
Yo, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but when I first watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I skipped the endings or the openings. So when I go back and rewatch it, because it's gonna happen one day, I will actually watch the openings and be able to appreciate them.
See, I thought you were going to make the hot take and say that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood wasn't as good as Full Metal Alchemist. Like some people we know.
Oh no, I would never say such blasphemous things. Naruto opening 5,
Okay.
the Haruka Kanata, the one where it's like the Sasuke retrieval arc, that's also one of my favorites.
Go by Flow, the good old Fighting Dreamers.
Yo, yeah.
Oh, man, Naruto and Bleach themselves had some really good ones. So those are some of our favorites. I think to wrap it up, are there any that we would think are iconic? So in my mind, I'm thinking we already mentioned Chala Head Chala from Dragon Ball.
We Are from One Piece.
We
Opening.
Are from One Piece. Yup.
It's like a national anthem for Japan.
That's true.
Shout out. Was it the Olympics or was it the World Cup? Where
World Cup
it was the World Cup
in Russia.
where two people from different nations. One was a Japanese dude, and one was, I believe, some like African nation, or no, France. It was a French guy, and he started singing the "We Are One Piece" opening one, and the Japanese guy joined in, and then more people came in and joined in and started singing the song.
Yeah.
That's the power, team. That's the
It's
power
beautiful.
of anime.
And it's the power. It's a uniter. It is a uniter.
It is. Let's see. Oh man, I do not want to say the series because I don't like the series at all. And Demetrius, again, you will echo my sentiment. But the opening for Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah,
that's
it is pretty iconic. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh my goodness, Cruel Angel.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's an icon. Yeah, openings and endings. They're unique in anime. They're unique to anime. You get a lot of them. You get a lot of different tones. They prepare you for the series that you're about to watch. They wind you back down from the events of the series, or maybe get you hyped up for the
And
next
they do
episode.
some heavy foreshadowing that you will not see until you've already witnessed the events of the show.
They do it right. Sometimes they spoil it altogether,
Oh,
and I hate it.
Yeah, sometimes they do it. Sometimes they do it terribly.
All I'm saying is, if you haven't watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, at least I would say the first 4 openings, so part 1, part 2, and then both the openings from part 3. Try not to pay too much attention to the little details.
Oh yeah, no, I noticed immediately, especially part 2. Part 2 was telegraphed.
Yeah. They kind of snuck some little things in there, but also some pretty big things were in the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just it. There are a lot of creative things that anime openings can do. There are a lot of memorable songs, as you can tell by us speaking here, that we're going to take with us for forever, that are linked to our memories of watching the series, or maybe our memories of just hanging out with friends. So one last time, I'm going to say, let's get a little bit of interaction. Let's see what people's favorite openings and endings are. You know, we're always open to listening to some great new music, some great new bands. Shout out to seeing Brodio. Let's at Otakon. We're gonna be Otakon. We're gonna be seeing Brodio. Shout out to Flyers. That Death Parade OP is excellent.
Yep.
So hyped to see that live. But yeah, what are your guys' favorite openings, favorite endings? Hit us with some suggestions. Give us some music to listen to. Again, thank you all for understanding about our hiatus. Thank you all for kind of realizing that we got stuff going on too. This is a passion project of ours, and we're just striving to put out the highest quality product we can. We really appreciate you all for sticking around. Again, I am pleased to say, Saeed, take us out, my friend.
To be continued.
Bebop don't stop.
Ooh, peace, friend.
But I wasn't wrong.